Hi, I'm Dr. Holda. I'm in my office, I'm in the clinic, and sometimes I feel inspired to share messages wherever I am. So instead of waiting until I get back into my recording studio, I'm going to share my messages where they come. So if you clicked on this video, chances are you're wondering or you're on a journey towards becoming your authentic self. If you're not sure, ask yourself this. If you are not living a life where you feel completely fulfilled, where you feel like you're doing all the things that you are meant to do and you're at the right place at the right time, and you have just a deep sense of peace and freedom and gratitude, if you are not living this, then you are not being your authentic self. And so in this video, I want to walk you through the 7 ways, the 7 things that keep us from becoming our authentic selves. So if this is something that is of interest to you so that you can change your life, then stay tuned.
You have nobody you need to become. You are already everything you need to be. You just have to let go of everything you are not.
Welcome back, and thank you for tuning in. If you're here, then you're likely on a journey. Something inside of you is asking to awaken. And I am so deeply wishing and praying that this journey takes you to you. Because I promise you, if you make this journey about finding your true self, then you will absolutely change your life and get to exactly what it is that you're looking for. So welcome again. Today I want to talk to you about the 7 ways that we keep ourselves from being our true selves. Now sometimes, and this was definitely my case many years ago when I would hear people say, just be yourself. It's kind of hard to understand what that means, because my mind would go to, well, I know the things I like, I know the things I don't like, I know what I want to do with my life, so okay, sure. I think I'm being myself, I can tell you what my personality is like, etc. But those things most often are not your true selves. These are avatars that we have created, either that were given to us, roles and personalities and traits that we just acquired because someone else told us that that's who we were growing up, and then eventually some that we just decided to pick up because that's what society expects of us. And so we take on these masks and these what I call avatars, because that's what we think we're supposed to be doing. But you'll know that you are not your authentic self when you feel like you're hitting walls in your life, when you feel like there are parts of your life that still feel unfulfilled, that still feel heavy, that still feel like a struggle. You're not experiencing the freedom and the peace and the joy that you came here to experience, that if you were truly aligned with who you truly are, you would be feeling. And so when I realized that, I realized, wow, okay, maybe it's time to take a look again at everything that I said I was. And when you peel away all the things that you thought you were, what is left behind is your authentic self. And this is the beauty of this journey, is you don't have to become something. You just have to let go of what you are not. And when you do that, you will find yourself. So let's dive into the 7 things that are keeping you from being yourself. The first one is a hurt inner child. Take some time to ask yourself, if I had to go back and talk to the younger version of me, are there certain things that were unresolved or unhealed, or traumas, experiences, things that perhaps still need to be healed? And if there are, and for many of us there are, because society and our world doesn't teach us how to process a lot of the things that we go through growing up, then that hurt inner child is still very much alive in you today, and many of your decisions and your thoughts and your beliefs are being filtered through that hurt inner child. Number 2 are beliefs of unworthiness. Now, initially I was going to just put a blanket limiting belief statement, but of all the beliefs from all of the patients and clients that I work with through my coaching, it's the belief that you are not worthy that is the tallest, biggest, thickest wall between your fake self and your authentic self. And so ask yourself if you still have parts of you that believe that you're not worthy of something, or that because you have a specific background or ethnicity or diagnosis or circumstance or past, that you're not worthy for some reason. Whatever that story may be, that belief that you are not worthy is going to keep you from finding your authentic self. Number 3 is believing that you are your title, that you are your achievements, that you are the things that you have. And this is part of, again, this avatar that I talk about in my courses and with my coaching clients on my podcast. We come here and we take on roles, we take on cloaks. We have to create an avatar in order to navigate this 3-dimensional world that we live in. You have to have a name and a title and a role and all of these things that we do. The problem is we now believe that it is who we are. When you believe that you are your job, that you are your career, that you are your degrees, that you are these achievements, then you're not seeing the true you that simply is choosing this avatar. This is something that I struggled with. I lived this constant rat race of always having the next achievement, because when you are these things, when you don't have anything to achieve, then you're nothing. You become nothing. And so with every achievement, I was never satisfied, and I needed the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. It was never enough. And many of you can relate to feeling like you get to a destination and you feel unfulfilled. And so you create the next goal. And so you live this constant life of struggle and stress where you're running after something, looking for yourself. But that's not where you are. Those things are not you. So detach yourself from your roles and your titles and your achievements, the things that you have, because they are not you. And when you can no longer use that as defining you, then you will get closer to finding your authentic self. Number 4 is unprocessed, trapped emotions. This is something that is huge in our society, and I see it universally in everyone. These are basically experiences that you've had, and they triggered emotions naturally in you, whether it was sadness, anger, fear, overwhelm, anxiety, depression, whatever response you had to it. And because we never learn how to process our emotions, and because we are constantly in this battle against what we think are negative emotions, they go nowhere. They stay within us, and that experience is literally living within your body. And you know, because there are certain things that will trigger you. If you notice that not everybody has the same triggers, you will see a post and feel really triggered. Your friend will see the same post and not think anything of it. Why is that? It's because there is a trauma, literally, there are trapped emotions that you need to process. Now, one of the things that I take my clients through is something I call trigger journaling. And it is a step-by-step process where every time you find yourself triggered, this is your opportunity to spot and process those trapped emotions, because it is keeping you from your authentic self. Number 5 is retelling your maladaptive stories of the past. Many of us are stuck in something that has happened to us in the past, and again, because we've never processed it properly. But we then begin to tell the story in a light that is painful, that doesn't feel good, and that doesn't shine a good light on who we've become. It basically is a story of being a victim. And we retell the story over and over and over again. And of course, we are retelling it today as if we were still living that past experience. And when you do that, when you retell stories in these maladaptive ways, then you again can never become your authentic self, because your real self wants and has already let go of what it is that has happened. And by letting go, we're not talking about forgetting, but we're talking about processing and integrating what it is that happened to you. But as long as you stay in that victim mentality and you continue to retell these stories in these maladaptive ways, you will never become yourself. Number 6 is living constantly in the future. Now, this is very prevalent, I find, as someone who's traveled around the world in Western societies and in many countries actually now, as we are becoming more westernized. But what this means is you're constantly, your happiness is dependent on some future goal. When I finally quit my job, when I finally retire, when I get this new job, when my kids get a little older, there's something that's not with you today that you're waiting for to truly finally sink into your happiness, or to truly be happy. And we do this almost, all our lives, never realizing that, oh, wow, I actually never have allowed myself to be happy, because I'm constantly living in this future, in this promise of tomorrow that never comes, or when it does come, you just replace it with something else. And so you have to break that habit of living in the future and of hanging your happiness in the future, because again, your authentic self lives in the now. So you have to come back to the present moment to find yourself. All right, and the very last one, number 7, is judgment. Judgment of yourself, judgment of others. Let me tell you something about judgment. Judgment is when you have already decided that you know someone, you know something about somebody, and so you paint them in a specific light. And this could also be yourself. We do this to ourselves all the time. We judge ourselves for various things. But as soon as you judge, you have now cut yourself off to everything else, that person or that you are. You now can literally no longer see what it is that you are judging for what it truly is, because you've already decided through the judgment that you know what they are. So let go of judgment. Catch yourself when you're doing it. I still do this myself today. I have exercised lack of judgment so much in my clinical practice that I think it's almost hard for me to judge patients, because I know that when I do that, I don't show up as my best self. So I don't do that in that setting. But I find myself judging in other settings, in social settings, sometimes with my husband. And so I catch myself and I realize that as soon as I do that, I have now cut myself to the stream of the magnificence of everything that this person is. Apply the same grace to yourself. Stop judging yourself and judging others, and simply catch yourself when you do that, because it is keeping you from seeing your authentic self and seeing others for who they truly are. These are the 7 ways that you are keeping yourself from yourself. And let me know if you want me to dive in deeper in each and every one of these. There is a lot to talk about in all of these different sections. But if you can take notes, jot down, process, let me know which one of these perhaps you struggle with the most, or which ones you maybe have overcome, and what was on the other side when you did that. Let me know in the comments. I read all of them, and I love being a part of your journey. So I hope that this was helpful and that this blessed you, and I will see you next time.